this. By the way, I can't take the president's speech this weekend on the auto industry. That's driving me out of my mind. First of all, he didn't, and I don't say this is a good thing. I just want to make sure that the record is straight. He didn't bail out GM. George Bush bailed out GM. And I remember because I was against the bailout. So every time that Barack Obama is saying he bailed out GM, he's lying to you. It was George Bush that did it.
There's so many lies in this first 45 seconds. It's hard to pin down how many there are.
Just a few years ago, the auto industry wasn't just struggling, it was flatlining. GM and Chrysler were on the verge of collapse. Suppliers and distributors were at risk of going under. More than 1 million jobs across the country were on the line, and not just auto jobs, but the jobs of teachers, small business owners, and everyone in communities that depend on this great American industry.
Teachers.
But we refused to throw in the towel and do nothing. We refused to let Detroit go bankrupt.
Stop for a second. When you say we, who do you mean? Were you the mouse in the room with George Bush when he decided to do this? Is that who it was? Because I remember distinctly saying George Bush is Herbert Hoover. He's Herbert Hoover. What is he doing? He's doing exactly the same things that Hoover did that helped. And because I got yelled at in the hallway by a Hoover. You remember that? I was at Fox and I was yelling about it. And a Hoover came and stopped me in the hallway. You've got my grandfather wrong. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Your grandfather, no, I don't. I don't have him wrong. Yes, you do. And he helps it. No, your grandfather did exactly what George W. Bush is doing right now. He's doing halfway points. He's taking us, he's moving us in the wrong direction. I abandoned the free market system to save the free market system. That's what Hoover did. That's what Bush did. It was Bush that did this debacle with GM. Bush, not Obama.
Obama made it worse.
He deepened it. He gave them more money.
He dug the hole deeper.
But the original bailout was George W. Bush.
Yeah. So it's not like, nobody was taking action. George Bush, he was already down there with his feet in the mud, throwing all the dirt out of the hole, digging it. And then you got in, and George Bush, I'm convinced George Bush would have kept digging that hole as well.
Yep.
George Bush got into the hole, and he was digging it. Then there was a change of power. He got out of the hole, you got into the hole, and you picked the shovel up, and you started digging too. It's not like this was some new idea to bail out GM. George Bush was doing it, and it was wrong when George Bush was doing it. All right.
I bet on American workers and American ingenuity. And 3 years later,
no, you didn't. Stop.
If you did that, you wouldn't have to give them any more money.
Right. If you would have bet on American ingenuity, you also wouldn't have dictated it was the Chevy Volt and not the hydrogen car. I mean, they mothballed the hydrogen car. That was one of the biggest problems that I had with GM. I said to them on the phone, because remember, I walked away from their advertising. I said to them on the phone, why are you guys abandoning the hydrogen car? I know you. I met with all of the chief.
You drove it.
I drove it for a month. I met with all of the head guys at GM before the Obama administration. They were putting all of their money into the hydrogen car, not to the Chevy Volt. They were working on the Chevy Volt, but they had a problem with the battery of the hydrogen car. They had already laid deals with service stations for hydrogen and everything else. It was all done. I drove the car. It was the future. Why is it now all of a sudden you're saying, oh, no, we're going to drop the hydrogen car? If you're not in bed with the government, who's telling you to do that? Who's telling you to do that? Well, we just believe in the Chevy Volt. Bull crap, you believe in the Chevy Volt. Bull crap. Nobody believes in the Chevy Volt. Jeez. And that was before it was catching fire.
I believe it in the sense that it exists.
Yeah.
I believe it exists.
All right. So he didn't bet on ingenuity and everything else. No, he didn't. He was running the company. Please read the book, Freedom's Forge. I just read another chapter in this last night. You wouldn't believe it. Everything that's going on, FDR did. Everything that's going on. The way they dismantle. They don't understand industry. They don't understand how it all works. And they start to meddle and they just destroy it. And that's what he's doing now with GM.
Bet is paying off in a big way.
How is it paying off in a big way? Can somebody help me with that? How is it paying off in a big way?
We're only losing tens of billions of dollars. It could have been hundreds of billions or trillions.
This lie that GM is now number one again in the world. I mean, is anybody going to call them on that and say, no, you were number one while Toyota shut down. You're not number one
because they
anymore.
shut down. This is the most incredible thing I've ever heard. Toyota lost its number one ranking because of the tsunami.
Yeah, they had to shut down their auto industry
so
for a
the
while.
tsunami happens. They're wiped out. GM becomes number one by default. As soon as Toyota is like, does anybody have a boat we could put some cars on? As soon as they get a boat they can put some cars on, they're number one again. I mean, how is that a victory? That is a participation trophy.
Yeah.
This is the quintessential participate. Hey, we're number one. No, you're not.
And
you're
here's
number one because nobody else ran the race that month.
And it's also kind of dark. I mean, you're talking about an event that killed thousands and thousands of people, and you're bragging on the result of it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, luckily they wiped out all those factories, so we're number one for a while, and we can use it as a political tool. It's really sick. When you really think about why it happened, it's sickening.
It is.
And here comes another lie that they keep doing over and over and over again.
Today, auto sales are the highest they've been in more than 4 years.
Auto sales, not GM sales.
Auto sales.
And then
Great catch.
It deepens.
Oh, yeah.
GM is back. Ford and Chrysler are growing again.
Wait, who?
So, wait.
Ford and Chrysler?
Okay, hang on just a second. Listen to this. Because their sentences, and you could tell because he's stopping because there's a period there.
Yes.
He's there. Auto sales are higher than they've been the highest they've been in 4 years. Period. GM is back. Period. Unqualified. But you connect it to the first one and to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Ford and Chrysler. The next sentence is Ford and Chrysler are back. Now, Mr. President.
How much money did you give Ford? Like,
here's one thing. Here's
60 trillion?
No, none.
A little less than that, just under that.
They refused to take a dime, and he was pissed at them because they wouldn't take a dime.
I mean,
they said,
almost
we'll
did, but they didn't.
Yeah,
Right.
They said, we can do this on our own. Mr. President, Ford, there's one thing you definitely didn't build.
Yeah.
You had nothing to do with Ford.
Stop using it.
Yeah. But he's taking Chrysler and Ford because if you put those two together, then, well, now we got something.
Well, people know that Chrysler got money.
Right, but
So
they don't know.
So you
they
automatically
assume,
pair it. Yes.
You automatically assume,
That's
it's Ford,
And
too.
he works this jelly all the time. He's continually throwing Ford into the mix and saying the auto industry, well, Ford's part of the auto industry. They got no bailout. And yeah, Ford's doing pretty well.
Is that the jelly?
That's the jelly he keeps working.
I can't
I'm
believe
sick
he's
of that
working
jelly.
that jelly.
I know.
I can't believe.
I
he
know,
continues.
right?
But see, here's the great thing. This won't happen, but if this would ever come up in a debate, he starts working that jelly. Okay? Mitt Romney's all over that.
Oh, yeah.
His father was a car company guy.
Well, and
he
then
ran the car company.
And for him to continually say, we saved American jobs, this is all about American workers, really? Is it? Then why was the CEO of GM over in China saying this?
Almost 7 out of every 10 automobiles, 7 out of 10
7
of our
out of 10.
vehicles were made outside the United States.
70% of all GM vehicles made outside the United
And
States.
in this, he goes on to say he's even excited to help save China. He's excited to get into bed deeper with China and move some of the companies here in America to China. This is after the bailout.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is
last February.
Yeah, this is current. This is current. Why Mitt Romney isn't running? I mean, well, and I'm not going to pound on Mitt Romney. He seems to be doing pretty well for himself lately.
Yes.
But somebody should run, because I'm seeing here in Texas, they're only running one spot in Texas for Obama that I've seen, and it's the same one over and over again. It's like, Mitt Romney, he loves the Chinese. He had Chinese food once. Bad for America.
Yeah.
He likes the Chinese. That's all I keep hearing here in Texas. Why Romney isn't running the GM guy in China?
He should.
Saying 7 out of 10 cars are made outside of the United States, and we're moving more of our industry out of the United States because you guys are the future. We gave them a dime, and this guy's bragging about it?
He's got to make that point during the debate.
Got to make
Has to.
Because the Obama administration, for some reason, seems to feel they're on the right side of that issue with the people.
And they're not.
The
They're
bailout does not poll well.
No.
When you tell them how much money we're losing on it, it really doesn't poll well. And when you talk about, you add on this flavor of this particular jelly, which is, I mean, when you're talking about 70% of the cars aren't even made in this country, it's indefensible. I mean, and Mitt Romney is not going to lose that argument.
Oh, no.
He's not
No.
going to lose the argument on the car thing. I'm very confident on that.
Here